Hello and welcome to another episode of Modular in a Week. Today we're making another filter and we are making the Q&D VCF by Tim Escobedo. I believe Tim Escobedo is mostly known for making stomp pedals or effects and easy distortions and stuff like that for guitars. And reading on the schematics of this design that we are doing today, that is also made for a pedal or a guitar. So get your guitar synth going is what he says on the schematics. Also, on the schematics, which I have here, there is, while this is a really simple filter, it's right here, so it's this small circuit right here. So while it is really simple to build, it comes in two flavors, as he says. And also, more than those two flavors, there's a CV response inversion that you can add. So technically you can make 4 different filters out of this one schematics. And that is why my modular bench here looks a bit more messy today than usual. So while these filters are very easy to build, let me read from the schematics. These two designs are quasi-synth VCFs, useful to get a decent fake low-pass response with a minimum of parts. And that's what this is about, this mess here, because I tried the 2 different filters that is on this schematics, and one filter wasn't that responsive, didn't move that much. So, and that was the one that I thought I wanted, the one that oscillates, self-oscillates. I think that's also there's text here that we don't know if it's which schematics it talks about. So in the end, I just ended up building both the circuits. One I soldered, and one is just on a breadboard. So we'll look at the differences in the sound that it makes. So you can make up your own mind which one of the 2, or if you want both, that you want. And also I've added a switch to invert the CV response, so that is in the circuit. That is possible to do with a double throw switch, which has 2 connection points for each of the latched button. So let's look at where we found this schematics, how to build it, and let's listen to a few of my sound examples. But before we do that, I would like to say thank you to my Patreons who make it a bit more easy to do these kinds of videos by sponsoring me on Patreon. And you could also, if you feel like doing that. And with that said, let's go into the schematics. If you search the web for the Q&D VCF, you will find it on very many places. And I believe the place where I found it was on electro-music.com. However, I can't find that forum post exactly because it was a discussion about real easy VCFs. But as you can see, there are many discussions, and this is the schematics that you find in many places. So I found this place, the Tim Escobedo circuit snippets, a tribute page to Tim Escobedo circuit snippets. So it's probably not Tim Escobedo's own site. I haven't found that one, if he has one. But as I said, he's known for having made very many stomp boxes, and on this page you can see many of his designs, and there are a lot of them, as you can see. But quite a far bit down we find, oh look, another filter. Let's not get sidetracked. But quite far bit down on this page we find the Q&D VCF. And here's the thing, so this is one filter, this little circuit here, along with this voltage divider here, which is used in both circuits there, VR. So here's one kind of filter and here's one kind of filter, and these are the two filters I built. This one is the one I built that I soldered, and this one is just on the prototyping board. Now, so this says this version will oscillate when resonance control is set to minimum resistance. I think that is this circuit, and this version has a nicer resonant peak, but will not oscillate even with resonance cranked. And I think that is this little circuit here. So that's why I built them both. And in the end, I believe I like this one a bit more. This has quite a bit nicer filter sound, I think. But it's a preference, and it doesn't take that long, a bit over an hour to build it. So I also added so here's this little circuit here is orient the LED like this to invert the CV response, and you see the LED right here. So this is the CV input, and the LED is connected to ground in the both schematics over here and over here. But by connecting it from 9 volts, 9 to the CV in, you will get inverted CV response. So I added a double throw, single push double throw switch, I believe it's called, that has 2 connections. I'll try to show that in a better way. That switches the LED between these 2 positions. So I get this switch. And if we look at the panel that is shown over here, so here's the switch between normal and inverted CV response. And we have a frequency pot, a resonance pot, CV input, and in and out. So let's look a bit more on that switch. Okay, stop. We need to pause here. Remember how I said I didn't find that specific Electro-music forum post where I found the schematics that I've showed you now, and that I just showed you a Google search result of electromusic.com forum post with the Q&D filter. Well, I read the first one because that did sound quite interesting, and it was. They asked the question how to widen the CV response of the Q&D filter, and one of the answers was to, I'll redraw the schematics and show you the change, but in the end you change the red LED for 2, 1 and 41 48s, or at least that's what I did, and instead you can lower the resistor on the inputs to 10K instead of 100K, and that you get a really wider range of CV response on the filter, and the filter sounds so much better in so many ways. So I'll show you that schematics, and I'll show you sound examples of the 2 different kinds of filters. That is the original, and then this little quirk extra change, and how that really makes a difference. So sorry for the interruption, let's continue. First, let's do something simple. Just that's the connection that you're supposed to do on that VR and VR there, and the same down here. Next is the switch if you want the CV response to be the other way around. So you have the LED up here or down here. And so you fix this with a dual throw switch. So what you do is that you put the LED like so in between these two legs, and then in one position you connect this to ground, and this one you connect to the center point there. So in this configuration, in the other position, you set this point to the middle and this one to up here plus voltage, as you can see down here. So now you get from plus voltage to that center point, which is here, to that center point, and the LED that way. So this takes care of if you want that switch. But as I said, let's just forget all this, because this next thing is so much different. So what we do is we take this little thing here and we redraw this. So this is kind of the input we had from the other one, but we changed the input capacitors to 10K instead of 100K. And then we get one N4148 down here, and this is the center point. Connect between the caps. This is that point. And from this point you take another one N4148 and connect to ground. Now this is that filter, the last kind that really makes it sound really nice. So this here, with this center point there, is this one here with the center point there. And when I say connect in between the two caps, that's this point here. So this here, exchange that for this, and you have the third kind of filter that we built today. And if you want to make this one, it should cost you around $6. And that is with the switch for the CV response. And this is the 1 mega ohm trim pot I'm changing here, which does quite dramatic things to the sound. And believe it or not, looking at this waveform, this is a square wave going in. So here's the response. Really wide right now. And let's see, we can get the resonance to sound a bit from time to time. We get the small dip there. So this might sound different with the upper filter as well. I haven't tried that, so that is one thing I have left to try. And then we can connect some LFO. So this is a really nice response compared to the other two variants, I think. Right, so I hope you got yourself some kind of clue what you would like to have from this. So the filter from last week, there was no resonance at all, and this one is all about the resonance in some cases. Yeah, kind of a strange filter, but it's nice to have those quirky sound sculpting tools in the modular toolbox. And as you saw, you can really shape the shape of the waveform to unintelligible things from what it was in the beginning. So I like this filter for that purpose, if nothing else. Hope you like this, and hit that like button and subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode of Modular in a week. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.